Hey guys, so today I'm in New Hampshire at my dad's house and I'm about to make some soup. It sounds really weird, but it actually tastes delicious and it's low calorie, which is why I've been making it a bunch. But it's cauliflower, cabbage, butternut squash. Actually, scratch that. I don't have any butternut squash here. This is what it's like to not have a permanent residence. So yeah, it's cabbage and cauliflower soup, and I forgot my chicken broth, of course, and I don't like to use carton chicken broth. It doesn't taste anything like real chicken broth if you do that. So I picked up a chicken at the grocery store, and I'm gonna cook that up real quick in this Instant Pot. It's the Ninja, actually. It's just a electric pressure cooker. So I'm gonna get this chicken cooking. I'm gonna use just a bit over 1 cup of water, just because then I'll have a little bit more broth to work with. The recipes always say 6 minutes per pound on high pressure with like a 10 to 15 minute slow release. But I find that sometimes it's not as cooked as I'd like, so I might do a couple more minutes. But anyway, and then I'll start with my soup and start chopping things up. It's super easy, which is why I love this recipe. So now what I'm gonna do is I have the oven preheating to like 400. I might move it up a little bit more. I'm gonna roast a bunch of veggies, which gives the soup a great flavor. So I'm gonna roast some garlic. I'm gonna chop up all these bell peppers. Pretty large chop because I'm gonna end up blending this soup anyway. So large chop, and same with the onion. Just gonna large chop it, throw it on a pan, and throw it in the oven, and hopefully not burn it like I have in the past, because I forget about it. Well, since I forgot to turn on the right burner, I'm now letting this pan heat up, and it's got the onions in it. Now I'm gonna start on the 2 main ingredients for the soup. Now that the chicken is cooking, the vegetables are roasting, and the onions are gonna be sauteed. I could do them in the oven too, but I love those silicone mats, and I only brought one of them here because it's easy to clean up and you don't have to use oil. So that's why I usually like to use them, because I can throw them in the oven without any oil. But because I only had one of them with me, I figured I'd just do it on the stovetop. Let's try this thing that they said to do. So when I was at the grocery store getting the chicken, I saw this, and I am a kombucha fiend. I love it, especially GT Synergy. And this is a new flavor that I'm so excited to try. So I thought I'd try it on camera. This one doesn't seem very bubbly. I like it. It's not over like a strong peach flavor. I'm kind of allergic to peaches, so hopefully this is okay. Cooked peaches are fine. I used to be able to eat peaches. Now I'm allergic to all these like pit fruits. So, but kiwi juice is in a lot of kombuchas too, and I'm allergic to kiwis now. But I can have the kiwi juice, I guess. I like it. It's just like a subtle peach flavor. I recommend. I've never seen it anywhere else though. I live in New Hampshire, and this was at Market Basket. They had tons of them. I was surprised. It was like an abundance of just this flavor. I will see you in a bit when, actually let me check on the roasted veggies, and then when everything's done. The big stock pot here, these need to start softening, and here, and then when everything, I'll just start adding it to the big pot when they're ready. And it just needs to become soft. So I slow cook it for a couple of hours usually. Depends on how hot you have it. I just dropped an onion down there. I don't like to waste. I did it again. I almost burned all my peppers, but then I remembered there's just too many moving parts, I guess. I'm a multitasker, and it doesn't always execute the best. So I did save them, but these ones clearly burnt, and I'll probably throw the rest of these in. Like I said, there was no oil on here because it's got this silicone mat, and I'm gonna throw those in the pot. I said this in other vlogs. This is not a tutorial channel. This is real life and how I live. This isn't inedible. These are all hard as a rock. I don't know if the garlic, so this one's soft here, actually. I don't know if I cooked it at too high of a temperature. Probably should look that up because this hasn't happened to me before though. In any case, I'm gonna add minced garlic from the fridge and any pieces that are soft within this. The onions are pretty much done. I might let them get a little bit more roasted or caramelized, and then throw those in as well. Here's how the pot's looking. There's some liquid at the bottom, which is going to make sure that it doesn't burn, and it will help, you know, soften it all up. I just took the cover off of the chicken, and I'm going to pull it out and let it start to cool so that I can take that apart later just to shred. I put it in the fridge. I like to shred it when it's not cold but still a little bit warm. I think it shreds best by hand. And I got quite a bit of broth. I added a little bit more than a cup of water, and it released, you know, it's chicken broth. I'll save that to see how much I need to thicken the soup. If I end up adding some butternut squash, usually I have to add a little bit more broth than if I'm just using the cauliflower and the cabbage because it's more of a water dense food. So that will depend on how the flavor is, really. I forget, I've only made it without butternut squash once, and I would have added if I had some here, but I don't. But it's something that you can always just, you know, boil some butternut squash and then add it in, because everything will be pureed and you just, you know, mix it all together.
Yesterday, Cameron and I ended up meeting so we could work on our meet and greet stuff.
I've just been watching some Catherine Manning, I love her vlogs, while I shred this chicken. So this isn't for the soup, but you actually can. It's great, like, to put some like chunked meat or shredded meat inside this squash soup. Actually, it's not squash soup. It's just pureed like squash soup. The cabbage and cauliflower soup. So this is how much I had. This chicken was pretty good. This was a 6-pound chicken. Look at all the shredded Meat I have here, I pulled out this onion. I'm gonna put it in the soup because it's, I wish I hadn't put as much onion in that soup, but I put 2 heads of cauliflower and 2 heads of cabbage, so it's quite a bit, especially if I add in that butternut squash. I always have a bowl of like skin and like cartilage and stuff, and then these are all bones, and then the carcass that I'm going to put in the freezer for when I make bone broth. And it's just about that time that I flavor this up and finish it off. So you can see how soft it is here. I know it's getting all steamy, but that's all we're looking for, is all the vegetables to be soft, because we're going to puree it with our hand mixer. Oh, and I did add some chicken broth, some like real chicken broth. This is what I have left, so I can use this if I need more. All right, so this is basically how cooking goes with me. I just add a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to add this Montreal spice, which is basically an Italian blend, some cumin, chili powder, some of the 21 Salute from Trader Joe's, and then the tomato powder and salt and pepper. So let's get to it. Now I had to add more chicken broth than I had remembered. So I added 3.5 cups of regular broth that I had made. And then this is another 4 cups. So I added about 8 cups of chicken broth. So about 4, I made a double batch. I used 2 heads of each. So if you just use 1 head of each, you might have to just use 4 cups of chicken broth, but you can see it's nice and pureed. I might cook it a little bit more to soften it up, puree it one more time, but I have to run out, so I'm just gonna leave it on the stove and I'll turn it back on when I get home, and then I can puree it even more. The flavor is good. It's really good when you top it with some Parmesan cheese. At this point in the day, it was getting pretty late, and so I decided to wrap things up for the night. I'm waking up my sourdough starter by adding some water and flour and leaving it on the counter overnight so I can make sourdough English muffins tomorrow. It's the night before the storm, and I just wanted to show you guys what the driveway looks like, because tomorrow morning it's gonna be covered in snow and you won't know. So this is where we plow. We push all the snow down there because there's an embankment there and there. And this is all flower beds. So we push it down there and we blow it out there. And then there's this part of the driveway too. So then we have to kind of work in sections. So this is what the driveway looks like. Gives you a little bit better perspective for tomorrow when I'm gonna be working on this all by myself. Let me show you the view from the back. What the back looks like. It's all snow covered right now, but it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be beautiful. I still have this Christmas tree up. We keep it up. It's like more like a winter tree. And that's the lake. In just a few months, this will be beautifully flowered. We'll see you tomorrow when it's a winter wonderland.